Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today there's a spring cleaning update. Oh, I guess yesterday when you're watching this video, but the point is there's a spring cleaning update. We're gonna look through it, kind of see what they did, see if it was useful or not, give my opinion on those things. One thing that was really funny was I was streaming when this came out and it completely bugged out Sand King. Sand King's shard just like mega pulsed. It was hilarious. But I believe they removed that. Either way, let's get into it. Let's read it. So it is an update to patch a passel of bugs and implement new quality of changes. All right. So apparently the changes they made is to Aghanims, tooltips, muting controls, which is good because this was a big problem. Shop searches and demo hero mode, which I don't really understand why they changed this. I felt like demo hero mode was fine. And then dig into the longer list of fixes and gameplay adjustments in a comprehensive breakdown below. It's pretty crazy that Valve is doing something like this. I know they do this, they've done this in the past, but the way it's set up here seems so official. I don't know who they hired to do this, but it's very official, very official. All right, well, let's get into it. So it looks like the tooltips. Okay, so one thing that they did, which is actually really fantastic. This is a great change. Is they made a lot of the Aghanim Scepter descriptions much more thorough, much better. You can see here that for the Poison Nova on Veno, it now tells you that the cooldown at level 3 when you get your axe is 60 seconds, which is fantastic. It makes it very clear, you know, what it changes it to. Also the max HP per damage, because in the past it just said increases damage and decreases cooldown, that's it. Now it has numbers to it, which is really wonderful. That's quite great. So that's awesome. And then on top of that, you know, you can see the shard has changed as well. Well, it's much more clear as well. You can see the bonus range is 400 and the plague words per hero is 2, which is awesome. That's a wonderful change. It also seemingly adds it to when you look at the description of the item, when you hold Alt on your ability, you can see it there as well. So that's a great change from Valve. I would imagine they added this to a lot of heroes and a lot of abilities. So that's wonderful. The muting system, it's good now. I played a couple games. It's clean, it's easy to use. I don't know what they did beforehand. It was the most confusing thing of all time. I couldn't believe the current, the mute system was so awful, but now it's very easy to use for me. It seems very easy to use, so no problems there. All right, so the next thing they did is they updated the shop. Essentially, when you search for items, it's much more likely that you can find the item by typing in various keywords. Kind of a little bit weird where you can type in regen. I think that's kind of worthless, especially considering the general habit you're gonna have is to type in tango when you want tango and salve when you want to salve. Hey, typed in speed. Oh, that's me, I'm a keyword now. Very cool. Either way, yeah, I don't think that's that useful, to be honest. I think what is cool is that it shows the effect of the item when you type it in. Even that is a bit weird. I love how it looks though. I love how it's separated now. That seems pretty cool and pretty clean, so that's cool. The other effects I will personally say I think are pretty worthless in general, but it looks good, so there's that. Demo hero improvements. I don't really understand what is the purpose of doing this. I will say that I actually did open up the demo and try it out, and it's, you know, it's very easy to use. It's easy to understand. Is there a refresh button? I don't know where the refresh button is. Oh, there's a reset, okay. Yeah, so there is a reset button. All in all, I mean, it's honestly fine. I think overall it is a good change. They added a scepter and a shard effect as well, which is kind of cool. You can just give everyone a scepter, everyone a shard. You can level up every enemy at the same time, every ally at the same time, seemingly. So yeah, it's good changes. It looks good. It looks modern, which at the end of the day is always nice when you can tell they're putting effort into making their game look clean. It looks very updated, very 2020. Compared to the old setup, which I think they did like a year or two ago. So I wouldn't say that I feel like they also added the runes here, which you can see. That's actually fantastic. That looks really nice. So I love how they have the DD haste arcane rune. You can much more easily check out like, oh, you know, I want to try out arcane rune, arcane blink storm, see how this goes. It was very awkward to type it in. You had to like know hotkeys and so on. I don't even know if you could. I never even personally did it, but if you wanted to, you'd have to know hotkeys. Yeah, hotkeys, keywords, cheat codes, commands, things like that. On top of that, they added expanded item tooltips, which this is fantastic. I really love this. This is awesome because I'm all about the small numbers, right? I really love the small numbers. So the big thing for me here is that on something like Scotty, yeah. So what's really awesome about this is you can hold Alt and it makes it very clear what you're getting from the item, right? It really kind of breaks down what the item gives you, and this is going to be fantastic for players and even someone like myself to just gain a much better idea of exactly what you're getting from items, because even something like Scotty can be a little bit deceiving. Sometimes it feels like when you buy this item, you're getting a ton of HP, when in reality, you're getting 440, which is a pretty decent amount, but it's nothing crazy. So if you're trying to build HP, you know, there's better options, and I think a lot of players don't really understand that, or they won't really know the numbers. They'll just kind of have like a vibe. So this is awesome. I love what they did here. It's a great change, and I think it's awesome that they did that. So props to Valve on that. I think that's a great change. They also added ability damage colors. So making good choices in battle relies on knowing the challenges that face you. To help pursue the changes, damage dealt by spells and items is now color-coded according to whether or not the damage is physical, magical, or pure. So it looks like the physical is going to be blue, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder what ability this is. I wonder if I could guess it. 9-second cooldown, 310 damage nuke. Is that Dragon Slave? I'm not sure. Queen Scream? No, Queen Scream is a longer cooldown. I'll stop. Wait, no, but that's not physical. All right, I'll stop trying to figure it out. But next up we have magical, which seemingly is in red. And then finally we have pure 4-second cooldown is yellow. So that's really great. At least I think that's what it is. I would imagine they put it in the order that they wrote it as. Otherwise that would be pretty confusing. But that's an awesome change as well. That's really good. It's cool. Next up, enhanced language support for pluralized strings. To improve accessibility around the world, we've added features to better support pluralization rules for multiple languages and updated over 400 lines of text to account for these changes. Which is cool, I suppose. I'm not going to use it, but honestly, the fact that the game is going to be, you know, more accessible to different people in different languages is definitely awesome. So permanent buffs. So it looks like, okay, so at the end of the game, you're going to be able to see the permanent buffs. To make more info available after the match, kills from Necro's Reaper's Scythe and Axis Culling Blade now show on the post-game screen. Surely that's not it, right? Because there's other ones, such as Slark's passive and Flesh Heap. So I would imagine they added those as well, and which is cool. It's definitely cool. I didn't know that you couldn't see it. I guess I've never really tried to look, but that's definitely a fascinating one, like Finger of Death, or, you know, Lion's Finger of Death, and so on. So there's that. Sortable post-game details. So, oh, you can sort based on what? Oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. So now, if you can see this here, what you can do is you can sort based on bottom net worth to top net worth. So if you really want to check to make sure, like, wow, my carry really did suck this game, you can easily compare him without having to just, like, you know, look through all of them. So, you know, this is something you can do now, but that's honestly really cool. So that's a great change as well. I'm guessing you can sort by deaths and assists and really just kind of get a better vibe of like who's doing what in the games. And so that's awesome. This is really great. This is a huge patch, actually. Funny enough, I expected this to be really small. It's actually extremely, what is this? This is huge as well. This is so many changes. Oh, that is a lot of Rubik changes. All right, I mean, I guess let's get into it. This is way more changes than I thought it would be. Boots of Travel are less likely to target a creep when cast in the range of the tower. That's good, because usually you'd want to cast on a tower, not a creep, if you had the option between the two. That's good. Players can now sell an item for full price for the first 30 seconds after the game begins, instead of the normal 10 seconds. I think that's good. It was definitely like a little bit surprisingly too short, and it would be a mess if you like lagged or anything like that. You would just get stuck with items accidentally. Lifestealer's Consume now uses the same hotkey regardless of the infested unit type. I had no idea that was a thing. Ogre Bruiser now has a sound effect for its wind up and stun. That's good, because like literally I wouldn't even notice it was winding up. So it's funny that they did that. That makes sense to me. Neutral Creep's auras now show the radius on hover. Okay, that's pretty cool. Actually, that's very cool. I'm glad that they added that. Wraithband Null Talisman Bracer now update their stat bonuses in the ability tooltip when doubled. That's good to know, because it was a little bit odd that it didn't. I felt like it should, so that's a cool quality of life change. Fix the number of cases where pop-up heal numbers didn't take heal amplification into effect. Okay, I didn't know that's a thing. It's cool. Players with Fountain Invulnerability buff will no longer auto-attack and break the buff when an enemy is in range. Spell range indicator for Blink and its variants now take into consideration increased cast range buffs. Oh, okay, that's cool. So I guess when you hovered over Blink, if you had an Aether, it wouldn't really tell you. Is that what this is saying? That's what it seems to be saying, but I'm not really sure that's the case. Maybe it also includes something like a Rubik, you know, passive, which is great. That's definitely a huge change for certain heroes. Really, really nice. Clarified the tooltip for Desolator's Soul Stealer passive. Desolator gains attack whenever an enemy dies while afflicted by the corruption debuff. Okay. I didn't actually know that's how it was, so they have to be afflicted, I guess. Okay, don't care. Neutral items can no longer be combine locked. This fixes a bug where couriers would not deliver combine lock neutrals. Yeah, that was really weird. Basically, if you had a neutral item and you locked it, it just wouldn't give it to you, which was so confusing. Fixed the bugs where illusions with duplicated modifiers would have incorrect durations, allowing the real hero to be identified. I did not know that was a thing. Some of these changes are like, what? This was in the game? Fix the bug in Turbo in new player mode where some gold sources were not being correctly scaled, okay? Fix the bug where some... How do people even figure this stuff out? Fix the bug where some in-game tooltips that are modified by talents were displaying as 0 instead of the correct value, okay? Dual Scepter cast on Magic Immune clones will now correctly apply its effect to the clone rather than simply going on cooldown. Wow, did not know that was a thing. That's crazy that that happened. How would you even a Magic Immune clone? That probably rarely happened, but I guess it happens. Cobalt Prospecting Aura no longer applies to creep heroes, e.g. Lone Druid Bear, fixing a bug where it incorrectly granting double the effect. Wow, that's cool. I did not. This is such a bizarre patch. Clones and Tempest Doubles now correctly receive the stat bonus from Alchemist granted Aghanim Scepter blessings. Oh, they didn't. That's interesting. I didn't know that that was the case. That's actually such a that would be such a problem in some cases. It would make them so weak. Chen's Hand of God now correctly applies the heal over time to the creeps controlled by Chen, not just the initial heal. Wow, that's actually a massive buff. I didn't even know that it was bugged. I guess Chen players must have alerted them because that's actually so massive. Arc Warden's Tempest Double attack penalty from distance now respects Arc Warden reincarnating. Okay. Blink Dagger and Arc Warden's Tempest Double is no longer on cooldown upon summoning. That was a thing? What the hell? Added a tooltip clarifying that clones and Tempest Doubles can't bash with the Basher or Abyssal. This is a lot of Arc Warden problems. This was one of the funnier ones. My friend sent me this one. Terrorblade's Metamorphosis now has the correct cooldown of 35, 40, 45, 50. That was so hilarious because it's so confusing. Like it makes literally no sense, right? This is such a bugged line of text because not only does Terrorblade's meta not even come close to whatever this is, it's not, I don't think this is the duration. I'm pretty sure what this is the mana cost on Terrorblade's Q. That's the only thing that looks like this, if I'm not mistaken. So, they really messed this one up. It's pretty funny. Because I was like, my friend sent it to me. I'm like, what the fuck? This makes no sense. Monkey King's Tree Dance can no longer escape Arena of Blood. Wow, that's just a straight up nerf, right? That's just a nerf. All right. Mars is just much better against Monkey King. That's cool. In Ability Draft, Naga Siren's Riptide effect will now play on the correct hero instead of always on Naga Siren. Ricky can now cast Smokescreen while channeling Tricks of the Trade without breaking the channel, even if the channel requires Hold Stop is enabled. Yeah, this whole hotkey thing was so buggy. I wonder if they fixed this with Puck's Orb as well, because it's like impossible to play Puck if this hotkey is on. Fixed Marcy's Dispose interaction with BKB and Lotus Orb. Sniper's Concussive Grenade now adds an overhead disarm icon. Yeah, I didn't know it did that, but it makes sense now that I think about it. Morphling no longer permanently keeps the Spiritling passive when Morphling is morphing into Lone Druid. Another Morphling nerf. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that. If you turned into Lone Druid, you just straight up got his passive and kept it permanently, even when you lost the hero. It was really stupid. It was one of the reasons why this hero was actually a hard counter Lone Druid. Added a missing channel icon for Underlord's Fiend's Gate. Okay. Added a missing tooltip for Icefire's Bomb debuff. It has a debuff? Dark Willow's Cursed Crown particle effects with Aghanim Shard now has the correct timing. Using Hand of Midas on Lone Druid Spirit Bearer now grants experience to the controlling hero. Using Hand of Midas on Lone Druid Spirit Bearer now grants experience to the controlling hero. Wow, that's really bad that it didn't. Everyone who bought Midas on the bear was just griefing, even though no one buys Midas on bear, so I don't even... If you're buying Midas on bear, you're sus. You should be buying Mask of Madness. Alright, now I'm honestly gonna end the video there, guys. Honestly, the rest of the changes just... They don't really matter that much, so if you're personally interested in them, you could of course pull it up. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of today's video. A lot of cool changes from Valve. I really respect what they did with a lot of the post-game stuff. I think that my favorite change personally is the addition of being able to hold alt on items and see what it actually gives you. That's really, really cool. That's like really fantastic, actually. I think the muting changes are great, and this Aghanim Scepter change as well is fantastic. So shout out to Valve, great job, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.